What if death isn't the end? What if the moment you take your last breath, you don't fade into nothing, but wake up into another reality? The Tibetans call it the Bardo, a realm between death and rebirth, where your mind becomes your world, where every light, every shadow is a mirror of your own soul. And here's the shocking truth. You don't have to wait until death to enter the Bardo. You're already walking its edges. In every dream, every silence, every confrontation with your own essence. This episode will take you inside the forbidden maps of the Tibetan Book of the Dead and show you how awakening now changes what happens in the ultimate journey. Are you ready to face the mirror between worlds? Part 1. The meaning of Bardo, between two worlds. Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of life, your body falling away, but your awareness remains. In Tibetan teachings, this space between life and death is called the Bardo, literally the in-between state. But here's the twist. The Bardo isn't just something you encounter when you die. It's a force shaping you right now. The ancient texts describe 6 Bardos, 6 transitional spaces we pass through, not only after death, but within life itself. There's the Bardo of living. The space you're in right now, where every thought, every action creates ripples into your next becoming. There's the Bardo of dreaming, the state you enter each night, when the mind detaches from the physical and roams the subtle realms. There's the Bardo of meditation, the space where the ego softens, where the deeper self can emerge if you know how to listen. And then there are the 3 Bardos connected directly to death: the Bardo of the moment of death, the Bardo of the luminous reality, and the Bardo of becoming, rebirth. Each Bardo is a doorway, a choice: awaken or fall deeper into unconscious patterns. In the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Bardo Thodol, the soul is guided through the stages after death. First, the senses collapse. The earth element dissolves into water, water into fire, fire into air, and air into space. This dissolution pulls away your grasp on the physical. Then the luminous mind appears, blazing, brilliant, terrifying in its clarity. For the unprepared, it's overwhelming, and they turn away, falling into the habitual pull of rebirth. But for those who are trained, who know how to stay present, this luminous state is a chance for liberation. It is the moment of awakening, the crack between worlds, where the soul can break free from the endless cycles. What's powerful here is that these teachings were never meant only for monks or yogis. They were maps written for anyone ready to confront the ultimate transition, and perhaps even more shocking. The Bardos don't begin at death. They begin in life. Every moment you face deep change, every time you lose an old identity, every time you stand in the raw unknown, you're standing in a Bardo. In the next part, we'll follow the journey deeper. What actually happens when the soul crosses the threshold at death, and how can we prepare to navigate that passage with eyes wide open? Part 2. The Bardo of Death. Navigating the threshold. Picture this. You take your last breath. Your body lies still, but your mind awakens into something vast. This is the Bardo of the moment of death, where the familiar world dissolves and something indescribable unfolds. According to Tibetan teachings, the death process isn't an instant blackout. It's a sequence, a dissolving of the elements. First, earth dissolves. Your body's solidity fades. You can no longer move. Then water dissolves. Your fluids, your sensations, the moistness of life begins to slip away. Then fire dissolves. Your warmth cools, the inner spark dims, then air dissolves. Your breath stops, and the winds of life fall silent. Finally, space remains. A boundless openness, where the mind detaches completely from its earthly shell. In this space, visions begin. For the untrained mind, these visions can be overwhelming, blazing lights, roaring sounds, deities appearing fierce or radiant, phantoms of your own subconscious. But here's the secret, the Bardo Thodol whispers. None of it is external. Every image, every sound, every terrifying or beautiful figure is a projection of your own mind. If you recognize this, you can navigate the Bardo with clarity. You can move beyond fear, beyond grasping, toward liberation. But if you don't recognize it, you fall into the familiar pulls. Desires, attachments, regrets. These magnetic forces drag you back into the cycle of becoming, the next rebirth. Now you might wonder, what does this have to do with me right now while I'm alive? Everything. The mind that will meet the Bardo is the same mind you carry today. The habits you build now, awareness, presence, surrender, are the very tools you will bring across that ultimate threshold. This is why Tibetan masters emphasize, prepare now, meditate, learn to recognize your thoughts, your projections, your patterns. Because when death comes, you won't have time to learn. You'll only have time to apply what you've already practiced. And perhaps the most profound teaching, the Bardo of death, is not only about what happens when you die, it's a mirror for how you live. Every moment you face endings, relationships, jobs, dreams, identities, you are practicing for the great transition. In the next part, we'll explore how ancient mystics trained themselves to navigate these realms before death through astral projection, lucid dreaming, and out-of-body journeys. Because the soul is not bound by the body, and awakening can begin long before the final breath. Part 3. The astral journey, beyond the physical. What if you didn't have to wait until death to explore the realms beyond the body? Across cultures and centuries, mystics, shamans, and seekers have reported one astonishing truth. You can leave the body consciously. This is the realm of astral projection, the art of shifting awareness from the dense physical form into the subtle, luminous body. The Tibetans called it the dream body. The Egyptians called it the ka. The Sufis called it the subtle vehicle. Whatever the name, it points to the same reality: you are more than flesh. You are a being of layers, and the astral layer is your gateway to the Bardo states before death. Lucid dreamers know this. In moments of deep dreaming, when the mind wakes up inside the dream, a strange thing happens. You realize you're free. You can fly, walk through walls, step into other realms of consciousness. This isn't just imagination, it's rehearsal. The Bardo, too, is a dream. The more conscious you are there, the more conscious you'll be when the body drops away. In Tibetan practice, the yogis didn't just meditate to relax. They meditated to train, to learn the patterns of their mind, to recognize projections, to sharpen awareness, so they could carry it into the dream world, the astral world, and ultimately the death world. Modern science is only just catching up. Studies on near-death experiences, on out-of-body states, on shared death visions, all hint at the same truth. Consciousness can operate beyond the physical. But here's the key. You need to be ready. Entering the astral isn't about escapism. It's not about thrill-seeking. It's about preparation. Learning how to stay grounded while walking in subtle spaces. Because the astral realms, like the Bardos, are mirrors. They reflect your fears, your desires, your attachments. If you enter them unprepared, you can get lost in your own illusions. But if you enter them with awareness, with a trained, centered mind, you discover something incredible of freedom. You are no longer bound by time, space, or form. You can explore the deeper architecture of your own consciousness. You can begin to dissolve the fears of death long before you face it. In the next part, we'll ask, why were these teachings hidden? Why did institutional powers suppress the knowledge that could free the soul? And what does reclaiming this wisdom mean for your spiritual sovereignty today? Part 4. Why Bardo knowledge was suppressed. Ask yourself, why would teachings about death, rebirth, and the soul's freedom be hidden or suppressed? The answer is simple and unsettling, because a soul that knows its power, that understands the Bardo, that can navigate between worlds, is a soul that cannot be controlled. For centuries, institutions, religious, political, cultural, have built their influence on one key ingredient: fear. Fear of death, fear of punishment, fear of the unknown. When people fear what comes after life, they become obedient. They surrender their power to priests, to doctrines, to promises of salvation. But Tibetan teachings shatter that system. They tell you, no one controls your soul. No one holds the keys to your afterlife. You hold them. The Bardo Thodol wasn't written for elites. It was a manual for everyone, a guidebook to help ordinary souls navigate what no institution could guarantee. And that's dangerous to power. Think of how many cultures have their own suppressed death wisdom: the Egyptian Book of the Dead, Mayan underworld maps, shamanic death journeys, mystery school initiations, all pointing to the same truth. The journey after death is not chaos. It's a patterned, knowable process. But if you knew that, if you truly understood that the soul is sovereign, that it cannot be punished or owned, that liberation is your birthright, would you fear hell? Would you obey blindly? The suppression wasn't just about texts or teachings. It was about controlling the very gateway between life and death. Even today, modern culture reduces death to silence, taboo, clinical detachment. We hide the dying. We numb the grieving. We treat death as failure instead of the ultimate initiation. But here's the awakening moment. You can reclaim that knowledge. You can learn the maps, the practices, the inner tools that prepare you to face the Bardo with clear eyes. Because when you reclaim your sovereignty in death, you reclaim it in life. You realize you don't need permission. You are an immortal flame wrapped in temporary form. In the next part, we'll explore how to apply this knowledge now, how to work with Bardo wisdom, how to train your mind, and how to awaken, so that when the ultimate moment comes, you walk through it, not in fear, but in freedom. Part 5. Preparing for the Bardo, Awakening Before Death. Geothuk de truok kichet, quang nam tram tam moitu. Here's the most powerful truth Tibetan masters teach. You don't wait for death to practice for death. Every moment in your life is already a rehearsal. When you meditate, you practice letting go of form, of identity, of ego. When you dream, you step into the mirror world, where thoughts shape reality, where presence is your only compass. When you face loss, change, endings, you stand at the threshold of the Bardo within life. This is your training ground. Because when the final moment comes, you won't suddenly become awake. You'll bring whatever awareness you've built across your lifetime. The Tibetans offer clear practices, mindfulness in daily life, watching your thoughts, witnessing your emotions, learning to see the difference between who you are and what arises in you. Dream yoga, becoming conscious in dreams so you can train to stay conscious. In the dreamlike states after death, meditation on impermanence, reflecting regularly that everything you love, everything you fear, everything you hold on to will one day dissolve. This isn't meant to create fear. It's meant to create freedom. Because the more you face death now, the less power it has over you. You stop clinging, you stop panicking, you meet each moment with the calm knowing that you are not your body, not your roles, not your possessions. You are the clear awareness that travels through the Bardo, awake, lucid, free. And here's the most astonishing part. This preparation doesn't just help you after death. It transforms your life right now. Because the more you embody Bardo wisdom, the more you become unshakable. You stop being controlled by fear, by social scripts, by false promises. You begin to live as a liberated being, a soul no longer afraid of what comes next. Will you wait for the Bardo to find you? Or will you walk through it now? Awake, aware, ready to face the great cosmic mirror with open eyes.